I made the egregious mistake of leaving this ladder out after getting the Christmas lights down in, February, March, whenever the snow finally broke. And I forgot to put it away, and now there's a robin living on top of it. So I guess I have a ladder on my porch until summer. Hi, I'm Nate with Average Jack Archery, Pro Shop and Range here in Phillipsburg, PA. And today we're shooting outside, which I never thought I'd say out loud ever again after the winter we just had. Have kids, they said. It'll be funny, they said. There's nothing they said about they constantly just throw mud on everything, they said. All right, let's get some targets out. These have been in here for a hot minute. This little Mighty Tough target, huge endorsement from me. This is a great little lightweight 20-inch target. Comes with the stuffing in a bag and the cover. It's great just to like take to camp and stuff. I don't know if it would handle, daily abuse, but crossbow guys, discharge target. I'll link to it in Amazon. That's where it's from. Nice little backyard target. My kids shoot at it. That's why I got it. It's nice and small and lightweight. And again, fits the truck, camp, whatever. Yeah, good target. Garage sale targets are always the best. Okay. Oh boy. Antlers, stay on, buddy. Or not. For the record, if I see anything like this in Pennsylvania, I am killing it immediately. Legally, but immediately. So this is the first time that I've got to shoot outside at my own house so far. The shop has been busy. Work has been very busy with Huntworth. Lots of cool stuff coming this fall from Huntworth. That's all I can say about that for now. But anyway, so I kind of have a tape. I'm pretty sure I got a tape figured out already from just shooting in the shop, but I'm going to do that today. And I also want to talk about people getting into the sport of archery right now and people coming back into their pro shops. It's getting that warm time, right? May's right around the corner. Turkey seasons have kicked off in many states across the country, except for Pennsylvania. We don't open up till May 3rd. But people are getting their bows out, they're getting ready, or they're getting new bows, or they're getting into the sport. And so going into local shops is becoming very common right now. And there's a lot of things that I'm seeing in my own store that I would love to share with you, particularly if you're a rookie to this whole, let's go buy a bow and set it up thing. So let's go move around the yard a little bit and do some shooting. Thing number one, there's no such thing as a practice arrow and then the competition or hunting arrow. They are the same arrow. When you go to shoot something out of your bow, you go to tune something out of your bow, go to work with something out of your bow, you want it to weigh exactly the same, react exactly the same, be the same length, same insert, same point weight, same everything. It happens all the time. Guys and gals come in, they're like, all right, I'm going to buy cheap arrows for practice because I know I'm going to lose some, and then I'm going to buy expensive arrows for hunting later. Okay, then you just need to know right now out of the gate that if you're going to do that, which it's fine to do that, but you want to leave ample time to make sure that if you need to tune, you can retune again when you get to hunting season, and that you have the ample opportunity to re-sight in and all those sorts of things. I really strongly recommend that if you're going to buy cheap arrows, just have cheap arrows. There's nothing wrong with having cheap arrows, but don't expect that you're going to go from cheap arrows to expensive arrows and have the exact same performance, exact same accuracy, blah, blah, blah. So for example, I'm shooting Ultra arrows. I'll use them as an example. The Ultra Novum is their 6,000s. It's their budget arrow, okay? But it is the exact same construction, exact same insert as their Premier Limited and Premier series. So you just go from a 6,000s to a 3,000s to a 1,000 straightness arrow. The weight stays exactly the same. The component, the nock, the fletchings, everything that comes from the factory is exactly the same. So you can get a cheaper grade, meaning that the straightness, the tolerance isn't there, but it's going to react and fly. The spine's going to be the same, the GPI or the grains per inch, the overall weight of the arrow, it's going to be exactly the same. So if you're going to do that, you want to stick with an arrow that you can buy the different grades of, a 6,000s, a 3,000s, a 1,000s, which every single company offers. You just have to be willing to look for it. And it's not a guarantee that every shop is going to stock that, but also at the same time, gosh darn it, these are the limited Ultra 23, so they're the 3,000s. They're not even the premier grade, and I'm shooting them just fine. And I've shot 3,000 straightness arrows almost my entire life, my entire professional career almost as well. Professional career, like I sound like I actually know what I'm doing. The fact of the matter is if you're going to shoot a stock arrow at a 6,000 straightness to save money, make sure you're able to upgrade that same arrow if you want the more expensive ones for hunting. Issue number two, and I see this all the stinking time, like all the time, Yeah, it's almost upsetting how much I see it, is that a different release is going to make me more accurate. Meaning if you're shooting a thumb button, you go to a wrist strap to a hinge to a thumb button, whatever. And that's just not the case. And just because your buddy thinks that he's more accurate with it, it's because he's probably spending more time with it. And he did a lot of research on it, and he wants to commit to making it more accurate. Just outright buying a brand new release is not going to make you more accurate. And a lot of people have this conception that a wrist strap style release, an index finger release, is inferior to a handheld, either a hinge, a back tension, or a thumb button. Now, I shoot a thumb button release mostly because I do more competitive shooting than I do hunting, way more, like 9 months out of the year more. And so it's a pain in the butt to have something flopping on my wrist. Now, have I shot competitions with wrist straps before? Absolutely. Are there super high level archers that do it? Yeah, Jimmy Lutz, Tim Gillingham, both those come to mind. Michael Braden shot on the tour for years and years and years. There are a bunch of guys that shoot a wrist strap release and shoot it very, very, very well at a very, very high level. And so, sure, you might think it's going to gain you accuracy, and just because it's more expensive, yeah, sure, it might be built better, and yeah, you might find overall accuracy, but at the end of the day, it's what's in between your ears. If you have a problem with punching, guess what? A new release doesn't solve your punching problem. Your brain is your punching problem, and you got to learn to live with it. I don't know how far I am away here. I have this judge to this distance. Let's find out. Might be a little hot on my number. Nope, my number was perfect. You think in my own yard, I should know the number, but it's been like 9 months since I've been out here. And here's a massive misconception that drives me nuts, and that is, well, if I'm not shooting for competition, I don't have to worry about the rings on the 3D target. I should shoot at the 3D target like I'm trying to kill it. Like I'm actually shooting in a hunting situation. And I see the reasoning behind that, but there's a couple different huge misnomers, I feel, or misplaced thought processes with that. One is that the whole purpose of a 3D target with the scoring rings is to see who is the most accurate by hitting those rings. And whether it's an ASA target or an IBO target, it's not like the rings are in the butt cheeks. I mean, sure, okay, there's a couple of targets where the rings are back there as a double ring because it's a really small target. Okay, guys. But for the most part, they're in the vitals. They're in the lung area. So it's not like it's a bad place to be aiming. Sure, it's not in the pocket, right, or something like that. Both ASA and IBO targets are definitely more middle of the body and a little bit back, right, middle of lung, basically. But also, when you're shooting in a ring, you're not shooting because you're trying to hit that ring necessarily. It's also about hitting that spot. Right, so a lot of times you go to your local 3D courses and there's like a little dark patch on there. You see a couple of arrow holes, and it's the idea, the concept of putting your pin into that spot, being able to hit that spot. It's not about hitting the kill zone. You know, the pocket is yay big, right? This is the size of the pocket. And if you're trying to hit that, guess what? That's also the size of the 10 ring on an ASA or an IBO target most of the time, the deer-sized ones. So why are you farting around with doing anything else? Just shoot that. And then also you have bragging rights over your buddies, right? It's just a cop-out. That's all it is. It's just a cop-out to be like, oh, well, I was close enough. That still would have killed it. Nah. Put some skin in the game. Get some points up there. The whole fact of the matter is being able to step up to a target and actually hit something for points that's calculable. And again, it's not about just killing the animal, because if you can say, all right, that's where the ring's at, I'm going to aim at that spot, I'm going to hit it, then you can also say, all right, here's the elbow joint, I'm going to put my pin there, I'm going to hit it. So don't spend the time, because you will make excuses for yourself. Oh, I would have killed it, right? Oh, it's, maybe a little low, would have ducked into it, right? I've heard it all. I've been there because I've said the exact same words. So instead, make it more about, I'm actually going to hit this. I'm going to see what my scores are and see if I can improve, because that's the other thing. Unless you have a baseline, unless you go shoot a Vegas face or you go shoot a 3D course, whether you shoot it known or unknown, I don't care, and you don't start gaining a baseline, you don't know if you're actually improving. You don't know if your accuracy is actually getting better. I think that is a huge problem that both rookies and veterans and everybody in the mid-ground has, is if you don't actually keep track, then how do you know where you stand? Like, how do you know if you're actually improving or not? And so if you're just like, well, I'm going to shoot this, I'm going to go shoot tack, I'm going to go shoot my local thing, whatever, that's all well and good. That's great. The fact you're out there shooting your bow means you are improving. You can't continuously do it and get worse. Right? Having your arrow count up is huge. It's like doing reps in the gym, right? You're lifting weights to get stronger. You're shooting your bow to get stronger. But knowing if you're getting better and not just stronger, you have to have a baseline of score, have to have a baseline of something. And just putting it in the kill zone on a 3D animal this summer isn't doing you any better. You're almost better off shooting bags and counting every time you hit the small circle on the bag or whatever. I think that's a big issue for both veterans and noobs alike. And I don't care what your baseline is. Could not care less. I don't care if your baseline is hit the target, miss the target. Couldn't care less. Start with the baseline so that way you know where you need to start at and how much improvement you're going to make throughout the spring and summer this year. So in summary, if you're going to go with cheap arrows, make sure you can upgrade later if that's something you want to do, or just shoot the 6,000 straightness. Who cares? You'll kill deer, I promise. After arrow selection, just remember, just because you buy a more expensive release or a different kind of release doesn't mean you're going to be more accurate, I promise. If that was the case, then I would be buying every release on the market to find the one that's going to give me the most points. But it all comes down between the ears. If you're a puncher with an index finger, you're going to punch a hinge, you're going to punch a thumb button, you're going to punch a back tension. You got to work on you and your shot process and your shot cycle first and foremost. And thirdly, don't just shoot for the kill. Actually shoot to get yourself a baseline. Get yourself a baseline score so you know where you can improve, and then you will actually get to see improvement. And that's a huge thing. That, like, being able to actually have a calculable bit of improvement and watch that graph kind of go up over time, whether it's just 5 points or 50 points, that's a huge deal. It's a huge deal for an archer psyche, and it's a huge deal for you when it comes to your confidence in the woods. But anyway, that's all for this video. If you have any questions about any of the things that I talked about today, feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below. You can always find me on Facebook and Instagram. You can send me an email, averagearchery@gmail.com. Or if you're in the central Pennsylvania, northeast region of the country, and you need a local home bow shop, come on down to 21 North Front Street in Phillipsburg, PA. Average Jack Archery Pro Shop and Range. We got 2 great ranges, a whole bunch of bow and arrow and broadhead and release selections for you. You're always welcome to come check out the store. Hope you're able to get outside, enjoy the sport of archery hunting if you so choose. Definitely enjoy God's beautiful creation, and we'll get to see you next time.